Democratic Congressman Castro of Texas is joining us. He's a member of both the Intelligence and Foreign Affairs Committees. Thanks so much, Congressman, for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Wolf.
Let me get your quick reaction to that report from Sarah Murray on the White House blocking CNN, other major news organizations, from what has always been a routine press briefing. They call it an off-camera gaggle. What's your reaction when you heard that?
Well, it's bad news. Watching everything that's going on, you can't help but think that Donald Trump is trying as hard as he can to follow in Richard Nixon's footsteps. Allegations of a cover-up, a very hostile relationship with the press, and the worse it's gotten for them in terms of press coverage, the more they're trying to control who can write the stories about the administration, and I think that's what you've seen today.
Let's talk about the other top story, Congressman, revelations that the White House asked the FBI to knock down reports of contacts between Trump aides and Russian officials during the campaign. The White House is insisting they didn't do anything wrong. You sit on the Intelligence Committee, which has already been investigating links between Russia and President Trump's fired National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn. Would you like to see your committee also dig into these new revelations?
Yeah, absolutely. This should be part of it. And it seems like it's one thing after another that the Senate and House committees are going to have to investigate. Everything from General Flynn's contacts with the Russians to other campaign advisors who may have had contacts and relationships with the Russians. And now, perhaps, the White House possibly trying to strong-arm the FBI into shaping the coverage, the news coverage about this story. And it's hard to give the administration the benefit of the doubt because they have been so hostile not only to the press, but also to the intelligence agencies, to the CIA before, and then today, Donald Trump unloading on the FBI. So, that's what makes me think that perhaps there was some kind of strong-arming going on.
Are you confident that your committee, or in fact any other committee, House or the Senate, can conduct a thorough investigation? I asked the question because your colleague on the Intelligence Committee, Jim Himes, he told CNN today that he'd like to see a 9/11-style commission looking into this because that would remove some of the political pressures that come from being a member of Congress.
Jim and I agree on that. We both support an independent and bipartisan commission that can have a full and fair investigation into the whole Russia issue. Now, remember, Democrats, of course, are in the minority in both chambers, so we can't create that kind of commission. Republicans would have to do that. But in lieu of that, then the House and Senate investigations need to be full and fair. And also, Wolf, I would say this, they need to proceed at a brisk pace, which has not happened so far.
You tweeted this today, and I'll put it up on the screen. The White House shouldn't interfere with an FBI investigation or instruct a cover-up. If report true, need major staff shakeup. What are you suggesting as far as the president and his staff at the White House are concerned?
Well, this should be part of the investigation, and if the chief of staff tried to strong-arm the FBI or recommended some course of action for them to take, knowing full well that much of this stuff is under investigation currently, then whoever gave that order needs to go.
What about potential impropriety on the part of the FBI? The White House says the FBI Deputy Director, Andrew McCabe, originally reached out to them to talk about that report in the New York Times regarding contacts with Russia. If that's true, should McCabe face disciplinary action as well?
Sure, that's a decision for Director Comey, but look, anybody who broke the rules should pay a price.
The Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, as you know, was a very strong supporter of the president during the campaign. He was the first U.S. Senator to endorse Mr. Trump. Given his political connections to the president, do you believe he should recuse himself from these investigations?
I do think he should recuse himself, both for his own integrity and credibility, but also because, as you mentioned, he's been very close to the president, and he's not in the best position to be a fair and impartial person in this case.
We're going to take a quick break, Congressman, but there's much more to discuss. I'll ask you to stay with us.